ask you about the culture, social issues. You are someone who's getting some support from, I think, Republicans or former Republicans, maybe because of your stances on vaccines, aspects of COVID. Conservative voters right now, a lot of them on the right are animated by culture war issues, these questions about gender identity in school, in sports. It kind of goes under the category of wokeness. I wonder, because I'm not sure I've heard you talk about this as much or answer questions about it. What are your views on wokeness? Do you have a definition of wokeness? Do you have views on transgender individuals participating in sports, what's being taught in schools? You know, what is your view on this package of woke issues that so animates the right, which are some of your supporters?
I have said this in the past. I'm opposed to transgender people, to people who were born as biological males participating in competitive female sports. If the sports, and I'll tell you why. My uncle was the author of Title IX, and he spent years and years allied with women's groups who were being treated like red-headed stepchildren when it came to by colleges and everybody else when it came to organized sports. My uncle fought for, wrote, and passed Title IX, and it finally gave women the ability to participate in sports. And it doesn't make any sense to me that somebody who has the advantages, the physical advantages of being born a biological male in muscle mass, in height and size and strength and coordination should be able to walk off a playing field playing men's sports and then walk onto a playing field playing women's sports. And that, I want to start by saying this, though. Anybody who makes that choice to be transgender should not be shamed. They should not be embarrassed. They should be proud of their choices, and they should be those choices should be respected. We should all do that. But that is a boundary that just doesn't make any sense for anybody to me, it just doesn't make any sense. And, I have a niece who is playing softball for Boston College right now, and she has devoted tens of thousands of hours in her life practicing that sport with the hope of getting that scholarship. And everybody on her team is in the same way. And it doesn't seem to me fair that somebody who has these profound biological advantages should be able to walk on that team and take one of those places from one of those girls. It just doesn't make any sense.
And Mr. Kennedy, there's a recent study that shows that a lot of Americans are increasingly divided on that particular issue. But given the very small number of trans kids there actually are, or trans people generally speaking, that are seeking participation in sports, some members of the trans community are frustrated that there hasn't been more attention to the literally hundreds of pieces of legislation that have been coming down the transom just since the beginning of this year that would do things like restrict people's ability to dress as the gender that wasn't assigned as birth in public. There have been drag performances of classic Shakespeare plays that have been implicated in some of this legislation that impedes on a parent's and family's ability to make decisions about the health of their children in consultation with a doctor. And I wonder what you say to the Republican Party, who are largely pushing legislation, are pushing pieces of legislation like this down the pike.
I would say what I said a moment ago, is that I believe that people should be respected in their choices, and that, they should be supported in those choices, and that, about their gender choices. I don't, any legislation that is mean-spirited or that is going to, that is disrespectful to people or is bullying, I'm not going to be for that.